we're going to start lying down on the back. Before you do that, go ahead and grab your folded blanket, place it at the back of your mat to use as a pillow. And set up your 2 blocks so that you can reach them, and then go ahead and lie yourself down, making sure that the pillow is off the shoulders and it's just supporting the back of your head and the neck. Bring the soles of your feet together and open the knees wide. Use your blocks for support. Spread the arms out and away from the body and bring the palms to face up. Make as many adjustments as you need so that you are comfortable. Once you are settled, begin to just notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Closing the eyes if that's comfortable. Notice your inhalations and exhalations without changing the breath in any way. Simply observe. Then begin to tune into your body. Notice the sensation of your body touching the surface that you're on now. Notice all of the meeting points between your body and the floor or wherever you are. Feel your body supported by the ground. Feel your body heavy. Then begin to tune into the sounds that you hear. Just effortlessly notice the sounds around you without holding on to the sound, without analyzing the sound. Just notice. Letting the mind go from one sound to the next. Now start to bring the soles of your feet flat on the floor. And now separate the feet as wide as the mat and let the knees come together. Just bring in the thighs and the hips in the opposite direction here. Now while you rest in this position, begin to notice your own sounds. Sounds happening in your own body. Sound of your inhales and exhales. Sound of your heart beating. Sounds in your mouth. Just notice your own sounds. Now bring your feet parallel and take the right ankle to the left thigh into a figure 4 position. Interlace your fingers behind the left thigh and pick the left foot off the ground. Hold this pose here, activate your right foot. Gently pulling the left knee in towards your chest. Keeping the neck neutral and see that your shoulders are not raising off the ground too much. And just a few more breaths here on this side. Now release the fingers, but keep your figure 4 shape. Everything stays the same, just draw both knees over to the right. Reach your left arm over to the left. And if this is too much on that left knee, you can release the foot. And just a few more breaths here. And then come back to center. Hug the right knee into your chest and reach your left leg forward. I'm going to take a twist over to the left. So go ahead and draw that right knee across the body. Use a block to support the right knee. And then draw the right arm over to the right into that twist. Come back to center. Bring both feet flat on the floor and pause. Take a few moments here in neutral. We'll do that on the left side. So bring the left ankle on the right thigh. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh and pick the right foot off the ground for figure 4. Keep your feet nice and active. Slightly pull the right knee, the right thigh in towards your chest. Just notice how the stretch feels in your body. And you decide if you'd like to go a little deeper, if you'd like to back off. Few more breaths here. Now go ahead and release. Leave everything the same. So keep your figure 4 and just draw your knees. Draw everything over to the left. Draw the right arm to the right. And breathe here. Come back to center. Hug the left knee to your chest. Reach the right leg forward. Now place that block and then draw the left knee over towards the right. Reach your left arm to the left. Making sure you're using that block to support that left knee. Come back to center and hug both knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug here. And then go ahead and come up to sit at the top of your mat. Make sure you have your blocks towards the front. And then come to a hands and knees position here. We'll move through cat-cows. So as you breathe in, lift the chest, arch. As you exhale, reverse, round the spine, push the ground away. Breathe in, lift the chest, shoulders back. As you exhale, round the spine, push the floor. Breathe in, lift up, maybe pause at the top. And then breathe out, long deep breath out to round the upper back. Again, breathe in nice and slow and smooth. Inhale. And exhale, round the spine, push the floor. Again, inhale. Lift the chest. And exhale, round the spine, push the floor. Now let's make our way into downward dog. So walk the hands forward, lift the knees, lift the hips. Keep the knees bent and the heels lifted. Breathe here. Now start to walk your hands back to meet the feet. Let the heels come down and start to dangle your upper body over the legs. Whatever movements feels nice here. Maybe bend the knees. Sway from one side to the other. Maybe come to a flat back and refold. Now begin to crawl your way forward, coming back into downward facing dog. Now bend the knees deeply, look forward, step the right foot between the hands. Grab your two blocks and frame the right foot with your blocks there, making sure the blocks are giving you as much height as you need. And press the left heel back as if you had a wall behind you. Breathe into your legs here. Now, use your blanket for padding. Lower the left knee to the floor. Walk the right foot to the right side of the mat so that both hands are on the inside of the right foot. Coming into a lizard position. You can keep the arms straight or you can bend the elbows like I'm doing here and bring the forearms to the blocks. If that's too much, too deep of a stretch, you can re-straighten the arms. Keep the chest lifted. Whatever position works for your body here. And just a few more breaths. Now begin to re-straighten the arms if they're not already. Walk the hands back, move the blocks out of the way and bring the right knee to meet the left knee. Move the blanket out of the way. Come forward and come to lie down onto your stomach. Come all the way down. Straighten the legs behind you. Reach the arms back by your sides with your palms facing down. As you breathe in, lift everything off the mat, the legs, the chest, the arms. Keep the gaze down so the neck stays neutral. And then release whenever you're ready. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Press back into child's pose. Head down, arms forward. Come back to your hands and knees, and then back into your downward facing dog. Now look forward, bend the knees, step your left foot between the hands, grab your blocks, and set up on this wide lunge here. Tall through the arms with your blocks here. Few more breaths here. Now, grab your blanket, place it right under the right knee, lower the right knee to the floor, and walk your left foot over to the left, setting up for lizard on the left side. Whatever you did with your arms, or you might do something different, as you might notice that one side is always different than the other. So again, either elbows on your blocks or arms straight, whatever suits you here. Now start to make your way back up. Straighten the arms if they're not already. Just move the blocks out of the way. Bring the left knee to meet the right knee. And then come to lie down on your stomach. Just lower all the way down. Straighten the legs behind you. Point your toes. Reach the arms back and point the palms to face down. As you inhale, lift everything off the ground. So lift the legs, the arms, the chest. Draw the shoulders back here. Keep the neck neutral. And then release when you're ready. Take your hands underneath the shoulders and press back to a child's pose. Head down, arms forward. If child's pose is not a comfortable position for you, you can always rest seated with your eyes closed. Now come back up to hands and knees, and then we'll make our way back into a downward facing dog. Breathe here. Now begin to walk your hands to meet the feet. Let the heels come down. Maybe sway from one side to the other as you bend the knees deeply. And slowly make your way up to stand. Inhale, lift the arms all the way up and over the ears. Exhale, hands together to your heart. Now move a little bit forward on your mat. Make sure you have a block handy. Separate the feet about as wide as the mat and let the heels turn in and the toes out. As you breathe in, take the arms all the way up and over. And as you breathe out, take your hands together at the heart and sink your hips down into a squat. One option here is to place a block under your hips and just sit on the blocks there. So both options work well, block or no block. Make sure that you're pressing the upper arms into the inner thighs and that you're reaching up through the crown of your head. And at the same time, root down through your feet. Breathe here. We'll start to make our way up, all the way up and over. Lift the arms up. And then exhale, hands together to your heart. Bring the feet together to touch. And then separate the feet wide to the side, as wide as the mat. So feet parallel. Have one block handy in front of you. And then turn your left foot out, right foot in. So the hips sort of turn into an angle. You're almost facing forward here. Begin to hinge right at the hips. Forward, forward, leading with the chest. Lower the hand to the left shin and then take the right arm up into your triangle pose. Either look up at your hand or you can look to the side, whatever is more comfortable on your neck. Hug the inner thighs in towards each other. Now as you inhale, make your way back up. Turn that left foot in. And then feet parallel, take your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, begin to fold forward. Use your block there and move it a little bit forward of the shoulders. If you can, bring the block higher and take the crown of the head to the block so that you rest on the block here. If that's not an option for you, you can let go of the block and just let your upper body and head hang over the legs there. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Now, start to make your way back up. Hands to your hips and come all the way up. Turn the right foot out, left foot in. Turn your hips here and begin to hinge forward right at the hips, leading with your chest. Little bend on that front knee. Take the right hand to the right shin and then take that left arm up. Few more breaths, hugging those thighs in. As if you had a beach ball in between the thighs, or one of those Pilates circles that you use. Imagine you hugging that in with your inner thighs. Now, as you inhale, come right back up. Turn that right foot in. Heel toe your feet together to touch. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, take the arms all the way up and over. And exhale, fold forward over your legs here. Halfway lift, hands to shins or thighs. Breathe in. Exhale, step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank pose. Tap the knees and lower all the way down onto your belly. Now bring your forearms to the mat so the forearms are parallel. Spread the fingers, point the toes behind you, setting up for Sphinx pose. And stack the shoulders right over the elbows. Press the elbows away from the mat and draw your chest forward. Lifting the belly up and away from the ground. Press the tops of the feet into the ground behind you. Breathe. Now bend the elbows out towards the sides. Make a pillow with your hands and rest your head down. And sway your body from side to side if that feels good. And then just rest here in neutral position. And now place your hands underneath the shoulders. Come back to hands and knees. And then sit back onto your heels and then swing your legs out in front of you. Come to a seated position. Go ahead and grab your blanket, your folded blanket, and sit so that you're right at the edge of the blanket. Come to a cross-legged seat, crossing the shins in front of the other. And then you're going to make a little table here with your blocks. And you decide how high, how low you would like your table. You can adjust in just a second. Place your hands out in front of you, and then you might stay right here, or you can walk your hands forward any amount. Stay right there, or you can rest your forehead on your blocks. Relax the shoulders and relax the arms. The blocks make the pose a little bit more restorative. Make sure that your hips are rooted into the ground. And then just breathe into the pose. Notice how it feels in your body. A few more breaths here. Now walk your hands back, lift the torso back up. Move the blocks out of the way. We'll just switch sides, so switch the crossing of your shins. And then same thing. Nice neutral spine. Walk the hands forward, and then you decide where you want to stop. You might stay there, or you might lower the head down into your blocks. You might notice that one side is different than the other, so you might need more height, less height. Few more breaths here. And walk the hands back. Notice how you feel as you come out of the pose. And then move the blocks out of the way. Move a little bit forward on the mat. And then go ahead and set up your blanket. Again, just like you started, set up a pillow at the back of the mat. Come to lie down. Have your blocks handy. Making sure the shoulders are off the blanket and your neck is neutral. Set up with the soles of the feet flat on the ground, feet wide, knees together, arms by your sides. Constructive rest pose. Close the eyes. Begin to just welcome sensations in your body. Notice how your body feels. Now keep everything the way it is. Draw both knees over to the right like a windshield wiper. And then go to the left like that. Come back to center. Bring your feet parallel. Now you're going to cross the left thigh over the right thigh. So if you're sitting cross-legged on a chair, draw both knees into your chest and place your hands on top of the shins or outer edges of your feet. You might gently press your feet away from each other here. So this is just like hugging the knees into the chest, except your thighs are crossed. Now go ahead and unwind and twist over to the right. So keep the thighs crossed. Place a block under that left knee for support. So you're twisting to the right with your legs crossed, using that block for support. I know you can't see it here, but you don't want that left knee all the way to the ground. You want some support there. And then reach that left arm over to the left. Come back to center, unwind, and then separate the feet, bring the knees together. Just a few seconds here in neutral position. And now bring that block over to the left. Draw the right thigh over your left. Draw the knees into your chest. And then either hands on top of the shins or grab the outer edges of your feet. Pulling the knees in towards your chest as you separate the feet away from each other very slightly. And then go ahead and unwind. Keep your thighs crossed and twist to your left. So Place that block under the knee for support. Draw the right arm to the right. Look over the right shoulder. And come back to center. Unwind the thighs. And once again, separate the feet about as wide as the mat. Let the knees come together. Separate the arms out and away from the body with your palms facing up. Close the eyes and breathe here. Draw the knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Maybe sway from one side to the other. Set the feet back down. We're going to set up for a very cozy Shavasana. Now place your blocks underneath your knees. If you don't have blocks, you can use a pillow or a bolster just to elevate the knees and keep the lower back neutral. Arms out and away from the body with palms facing up. Just get cozy in your Shavasana. If you like to cover your body with a blanket, do that as well. Again, to just feel your body heavy on the ground. Notice all of the meeting points between body and floor. Notice the connection of your body and the ground. And then notice your body breathing. Notice your inhales and exhales. Notice the sensation of your body breathing. Notice how your body moves as you inhale and exhale. Belly, ribs, chest expand as you breathe in. Everything contracts and your body comes closer to the ground as you breathe out. Just notice your body breathing. And then just let your body rest here. Practice the art of doing nothing. So you don't need to observe the breath. You don't need to listen to any sounds. Just let yourself be here, as if you had nothing else to do. Now begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and start to bend your knees one at a time, soles of your feet flat on the floor. Roll to the right side and set up in a fetal position. Feel free to stay there longer or come up to a seated position. Whatever seat makes you happy here. Take a few moments to just close the eyes and just welcome how you feel after your practice. Now take your hands together at your heart, lower the chin to the chest, closing out the practice. Keeping the head down, open the eyes. And namaste. Thank you.